Now, the Cape Coast branch of the Agricultural Development Bank has referred to its legal team the death of its manager at the Cape Coast Hospital after she was allegedly denied admission for lack of beds. This follows the appointment of a committee by the hospital to investigate the death of the ADB manager. The woman is said to have been rushed to the emergency ward of the hospital but was turned away by the supervisor, claiming there were no beds. We will take you back to the region for an update, but Central Regional Correspondent has the story so far.
Colleagues and family members of branch manager of ADB at the University of Cape Coast crying their hearts out. Their pains can't be described in words. They never imagined, thought or dreamt their manager's journey to seek medical care could end this way. Jane Hammond was sent to the doctors in service clinic Monday morning and never returned home. The doctors in service clinic in Cape Coast referred her to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, the biggest referral center in the central region, only to be told there were no beds.
I walked in and then handed over the referral letter to the nurse by the computer. Then the nurse said he's going to look for the doctor in charge to hand over the letter to. So whilst we were waiting, the doctor came and then said that we called earlier, but then she told us there is no bed. So why then did we come with it? And then still informed us that since there is no bed, we have to take our patients back.
The nurses who sent her to the teaching hospital say they were simply told to go and manage the case themselves because they were overwhelmed. Let's call the nurse Esther.
So I informed my doctor and then he said we should then go to the CT scan and then take a CT scan very quickly and then bring the patients back. So we went to the CT scan room. We met the one in charge of the CT scan who was trying to process it for us very quickly. But in the course of it, the nurse I went with said that the case is very critical, so I should come back and then we take the patients back to DIS. So I rushed into the car and then we brought the patients back. When we came, we were trying to resuscitate her in the car, but then we tried our best. We got to the hospital, we set up oxygen and then continued with the resuscitation, but then she gave up the ghost.
When JoyNews followed up to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, they indicated they could not be blamed for the happening. There were no beds at the hospital at the time the patient was brought in. Fred Yanka speaks for the hospital.
The hospital received a call from a facility that they were bringing in a patient, and then the in charge at the A&E replied the call and told the person to hold on because we have had some accident cases and the A&E was full, and so they should hold on and contain the situation whilst we try and prepare a space for the patient.
Was it that the patient couldn't be seen in the vehicle that brought her, or maybe there were some stretchers there that they could have even made the patient lie on?
As for stretchers, we were not having even stretchers that she could be placed on in a vehicle.
That is a referral facility.
Exactly. So it would have been very okay for her to be in that lesser facility whilst we contain the situation and then get a place prepared.
They couldn't contain the situation then. That is why they were referring him.
That I agree with you. And you remember that when the call came, they were also told that the situation here is also, getting out of hand, so they should hold on a little bit.
Many in Cape Coast who heard the happening can't simply believe what their eyes saw and their ears heard. Richard Kwejanyako, JoyNews, Cape Coast.
Well, remember, this is not an isolated story. Last year, there was a similar story in which a 70-year-old man died. Now, I believe that you will have your own story to tell. Share your story with us on our social media platform. We'll put that number out there for you. But let's get to the Central Region. Our correspondent, Richard Kwejanyako, is standing by. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Gifty.
So since the last time we spoke, which was this afternoon at 12, what has changed? Has there been any new developments to this?
Well, the development is that the Agricultural Development Bank, they have indicated that they had an agreement, a retainership agreement with the hospital. The retainership agreement is a kind of contract between the health facility and then the bank. So any of their staff who fall sick could go to the hospital and be treated, and then it would be charged on the account of the bank, and so the bank could pay. So they are worried that the facility could not even see the patient, let alone to even treat her, and then this has happened. And so they have narrated everything. They have also indicated to their legal team to consider the matter and then consider the option of either suing the hospital or, other legal remedies that are available to them. They would have to take it.
You spoke to the PRO of the hospital in that report that we've just played, and he explained the situation. He says they told them there were no beds and that they shouldn't bring it there. But has the hospital commented on a previous directive by the health minister back in 2018 when the 70-year-old man died, that nobody should be turned away from hospital because of no beds? Did they respond to that?
No, the management of the hospital were locked up in a meeting this morning. It was an emergency meeting over this matter. They set up a committee, and we do not know the content of the committee yet, but they set up a committee to go into the matter thoroughly and then bring their report, so that based on the report, they could react to the matter. But when we spoke with the PRO, he indicated that the briefings he had from the in charge at that time indicated that there were no beds, and even there was no stretcher for the patient to be put on in order to be taken care of. And that is why when they started the referral process, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, the in charge told them that there were no beds. So manage the patient at your facility. But when we also spoke with the nurses and the doctors at the Doctors in Service clinic in Cape Coast, they indicated that the situation was getting out of hand. Then they called another doctor who told them to bring the patient to the hospital, only for them to tell them that, well, there are no beds. We told you not to come, hold on and manage the situation, but you have brought it. So they didn't even look at the patient, even in the car they brought. And beyond that, they also had to struggle for ambulance. They said they had to call, but they did not get any ambulance to even do the referral. And then last minute, they got a vehicle that conveyed the patient to the hospital.
We'll be wrapping up on this conversation, but we'll put the number there once again for our viewers to share with us their stories and what they expect to be done about this particular story. But Richard, let's get to know this woman who unfortunately has died a bit more. Have you been in touch with her family? Who is she? What do they say about her?
Well, Jane Hammond is her name, and she's the branch manager of ADB in Cape Coast. When the incident happened, the husband was not here. They live in Accra, and so she comes here. So we're told that she was even in Accra, and then she bid goodbye to the husband that she was coming to work. So our information and the discussions that have gone on so far indicate that even on Sunday they prepared. She led the family in the preparation of a banku and all of that. So she left for Cape Coast. In the morning on Monday, she started complaining that she was not feeling very well, and so she had to be rushed to the Doctors in Service clinic. And then when they realized that they could no longer contain the hair, they decided to refer the matter to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. So that is the bit we know about the woman. The husband is in great shock, is in deep difficulty. He's not been able to comment on the matter. And so that is what we know about the family.
Okay, very well. As we've been trying to get the Ghana Health Service to comment on this matter, they're telling us that this hospital does not necessarily fall within their jurisdiction and that this hospital reports directly to the ministry. Have authorities within the region, I mean, this afternoon I tried to get that as well, we didn't have it. Have the authorities said anything at all in the region?
Well, I've been trying to get authorities like the regional director of health services to comment, but to no avail. I've also been trying to get other people, but we are told that this morning the management of the facility left for Parliament. They are going to meet the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. We do not know whether this matter is part of the matters that they were traveling on to meet the committee.
Very well. We'll try and reach Parker Wilson, who is also in Parliament, to find out what he has from there. But Richard, thank you very much for that update once again. Richard Kojonyako there, our Central Regional correspondent, giving us an update there on that rather unfortunate story there. And like I said, if you recall, last year there was a similar incident. A 70-year-old man died after they had tried about 3 different hospitals without getting a bed. There was a directive from the Ministry of Health that nobody henceforth should be turned away. Nobody should be turned away from the hospital for lack of beds. Now, what happened to that directive and what actually happened in this instance? We're told that there is a committee investigating this matter, even as the ADB branch in Cape Coast has also referred the matter to their legal team. As you heard Richard Kojonyako, they actually have an arrangement with this hospital that should compel them to take care of their members. Some of you are already sending in your stories and your expectations of what has to be done as we try to get through to Kwesi Parker Wilson. So let me just go through some of these messages. This one says, everybody know that this government did not come to make Ghana better. The NPP is full of corruption. It's coming from Burkina Faso. Well, let's know about your personal story from the hospitals. Have you ever been turned away? What did you do? And what do you expect the solution of this problem to be? This message says, what a bad situation. No matter how the management of the hospital should have done something. That's your thoughts there. My condolences to the woman's family. My condolences to the woman's family. Speechless, but our leaders should sit up. That's the message. You already have a message on the Electoral Commission conversation, which we'll be having shortly, right after I read just a few more of these messages. May her soul rest in peace. This is from Amadou, from Dodo in Amanfrom. Thank you for sending your message. And finally, this one says, God have mercy upon our country. How can we have a hospital without a bed? God will punish our leaders. From Joseph of University of Ghana. Now, we've not heard the last of that conversation yet. We'll keep having them. But also your thoughts on how this problem can be solved.